Gentlelady from Washington.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to strike the last word.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, it's absolutely absurd that we are considering this report today to hold Mark Swanitzer, President Biden's ghostwriter, in contempt of Congress. My Republican colleagues have already tried to obtain records of the special counsel's interviews with the president from the administration, and the Department of Justice has already given this committee substantial information. The administration has also been clear with my Republican colleagues that they need to engage with the executive branch on this issue. The main story here, Mr. Chairman, is that there really is no story. Special Counsel Hur engaged in an extensive and independent investigation. Mr. Hur found insufficient evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that President Biden willfully retained any classified materials. Moreover, Mr. Hur found insufficient evidence of any criminal wrongdoing and concluded that no charges were warranted. The special counsel noted 11 separate times in this report that he declined to prosecute the president. This is in stark contrast to Donald Trump, who was convicted on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, becoming the first president in 234 years of our history to be indicted. We have already wasted committee time on a hearing on this report from the special counsel. My Republican colleagues have already issued a subpoena to Attorney General Garland on this matter and held him in contempt of Congress because they didn't get audio recordings on top of the information that DOJ did provide. And now my Republican colleagues are going after a private citizen, a journalist and an author of 40 years. He has never been in the public eye, and I'm disappointed that this is how my colleagues have decided to use our time today. This is nothing but a distraction from the fact that my Republican colleagues have nothing to show for controlling the House. The Republican-controlled House is on track to be among the least productive in the history of this country. In the first half of this Congress, the House only passed 27 bills that became law, even though my Republican colleagues held 724 votes. As some of my colleagues on the other side themselves have said, they have nothing to run on, and it is embarrassing. When Democrats controlled the House and the Senate last Congress, we had one of the most productive Congresses, signing 365 bills into law. We passed transformational legislation that is continuing to make a difference in people's lives, to lower the cost of prescription drugs, cap the cost of insulin at $35, and make historical investments to fight climate change and build a green economy. To date, the infrastructure law that most of my Republican colleagues did not vote for has injected over $54 billion, billion with a B, into 56,000 projects in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Projects that are improving and strengthening roads and bridges and funding zero-emission transportation to improve air quality for Americans across the country. But that's not the story my Republican colleagues want to tell, especially today as President Biden, who helps advance and sign these historic investments into law, whose leadership was so phenomenal on investing in America, investing in people, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up. Tonight is the night that President Biden debates Donald Trump. So instead, my Republican colleagues are using their position in Congress to bully a private citizen, to distract from their own shortcomings and the legal troubles of their candidate who has been convicted. First former U.S. president to ever have that dubious distinction. That's the real story here. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Lady yields back. Gentleman from New Jersey is recognized.